right. Glad you guys are out here tonight. Fremont and Millard, they're having worship nights this week. Us here at Omaha, we're just chilling. We got some small groups for you. We are about halfway, actually we are over halfway through our Renew series. And this whole series, basically it's just the Sermon on the Mount. It's from Jesus. It was his first really big sermon he did. And it just, I'll tell you what, when you read through it, hopefully, some of you guys have been reading through with us this summer. When you read through it, our hope is that it will renew the way you look at the Bible, that you look at the words of Jesus, that it will renew the way you live your life. So that's been our hope this summer, and we're going to continue that tonight. I got to ask you guys one question. This is serious, really serious, okay?
What's your question?
Wow, I got like a heckler over here. Here's my question for you, all right? Have you ever just like been in kind of a situation where you had to, maybe weasel your way out of it, where you just kind of had to, maybe you had made a promise or you had told somebody something and then it kind of turned out, you couldn't fulfill that promise, or you'd promised something that was really unrealistic because you thought, there's no way I'll ever have to fulfill this promise. I mean, have you guys ever had to fulfill or like weasel your way out of a promise or a bet? You ever made a bad bet before and you're just like, actually, that's not what I meant. Okay, I think most of us, we've been there. I'll be honest with you, just confession time to you guys. I go out to FCA at DC West. I go out there once a month and we play games. We do dodgeball, basketball. I do a lesson out there. It is great. It's a lot of fun. But these kids, these middle school kids, they're always like doing these half-court shot kind of challenge things. And they're always saying stuff like, if I make this shot, what will you give me? What will you do if I make this half-court shot? And so what I'll do with a lot of these kids is they'll be like halfway through shooting, and right as they're shooting, I'll say, if you make that shot, I'll give you 100. And then I wait, and I see if they make it. If they make it, I say, I'll give you 100 punches in the arm. If they miss it, though, I say, I'll give you $100. As soon as I see them miss it, I was like, I would have given you $100 right there. You just missed out on that. Or sometimes, when we're doing stuff, kids will be like, okay, will you give me like $10 if I make this shot? And I'll say, yeah, I'll give you and in fact, no, I'll give you $100 if you make the shot. And as soon as they make the shot, I'll kind of be like, I didn't say dollars, I said doll hairs. And so then I'm like, I'll fulfill the bet. I'll go and find one of my daughter's Barbies and I'll cut you off some doll hair right now. I'll bring it back for you. And so it's kind of joking, just messing around with kids. It's just all in fun. But some of us, we've been in those situations before where we've kind of had to twist or manipulate what we said to kind of back out of a tough situation. Okay? Some of you guys, maybe you haven't thought this far ahead, but someday there will be a day when you're going to have a real job. Not at McDonald's, not at Burger King. That's great. Glad you got. Okay. I just gotta tell you right now, I don't like, if you're talking right now, just be like, take a deep breath, save it for small group, okay? You with me? You guys with me over there? All right, good. Save it for small group. So, some of you guys, you're gonna have a real job someday. And when you get this real job, it's gonna be great. You're gonna have a salary, and you're gonna think, this is amazing. I get paid this much money, like a whole year. I'm gonna be rich. And then you find out on top of that, you get benefits. You're gonna find out, they're gonna give me some retirement money. And then you're even gonna find out they give me vacation days. You're gonna be thinking, this is the best thing ever. They're gonna pay you to go on vacation. 2 weeks at least when you're starting out, probably. I don't know. That's what I'm guessing. That's what I've heard other places do. We get vacation here. It's cool. But you're going to get vacation days, and you're going to think, that's amazing. And so you're going to use your vacation, and you're going to go somewhere incredible, the Caribbean, or I don't know, maybe that's unrealistic. You're going to go to,
Take me to Hawaii.
Oh my gosh, you are killing me right now. Hawaii, yes. You're going to go to Hawaii, okay? Some vacation spot, and it's going to be awesome. And you're going to spend all 2 weeks there, and you're going to come back, and you're going to go back to work, and you're going to be like, this is great. I love my job. This is awesome. But then about a month later, you're going to find out all your friends are doing some big trip. They've planned another vacation, and you've already used your vacation up for the year. But you start thinking, oh, well, maybe I could still work this out. And so you decide, I'm going to go on the trip. And you decide you're going to call your boss on Monday morning while you're on this trip, and you're going to just kind of, maybe poke yourself in the eye, try and work up some emotion, think about your dead cat, I don't know, whatever it takes. Get crying a little bit. You're going to call up your boss and be like, I can't come in, my grandma died. You're not going to tell him that she died 10 years ago. You're just going to let him think whatever he wants to think, and you're going to manipulate what you're saying. And you're going to manipulate the truth just a little bit because you really want to go on this vacation with your friends. And you kind of think, it's just a little white lie. I don't have any vacation left, but I have to go on this trip. I got to do it. And so you go on the trip, but then you get back and, that's when things get a little tricky. People start asking you about the funeral, and they start asking you, about your grandma and different things like that. And you start to have to manipulate and lie a little bit more than you were realizing. And it grows and turns into something bigger and bigger and bigger. You're going to be in these situations your whole life. Not that one specifically, but there's going to be moments like that are going to come up, and you're going to be really tempted to just manipulate the truth a little bit, to just change your words up so you can kind of back out of something, or you can avoid something that you had promised that you would do. We all have these moments where we're kind of just tempted to give in and manipulate. If you guys got your Bibles, you can open up with me to Matthew 5, 33 through 37. That's where we're at in the Sermon on the Mount tonight. Here's what Jesus is talking about. Matthew 5, 33 through 37. He's teaching about vows. Here's what he says. You've also heard that our ancestors were told, you must not break your vows. You must carry out the vows you make to the Lord. Okay, that was an Old Testament command. They said if you make a vow to God, if you make a vow to the Lord, you need to live it out. And so basically it was just kind of like a promise or an oath. People would say, I swear by our Lord that I will do this, or I will do this, or I'll live this out. Okay, so these people, they were making these vows. And Jesus says, do not say by heaven, because heaven is God's throne. And do not say by the earth, because the earth is his footstool. And do not say by Jerusalem, for Jerusalem is the city of the great king. Do not even say by my head, for you can't turn one hair white or black. Just say a simple yes, I will, or no, I won't. Anything beyond this is from the evil one. What people were doing is they were manipulating their words. The original Old Testament, if you go back and look at it, it said, if you make a vow by the Lord, if you make a vow by God, a promise to do something, you need to live it out or you'll be cursed. And so people had decided to twist their vows or their oaths that they were taking. And so instead of saying by God, they would make a promise, well, I swear by heaven that I'll do this. Or I swear by the earth that this is the truth. And so what they would do, they'd be lying just a little bit, but they wouldn't be swearing by God. They wouldn't be making an oath to God in that moment. And so they thought, okay, this way I can kind of lie or manipulate the truth, and then I can back out of it later on. So let's just say, for instance, you're going to court, and you're a witness there, and your friend is on trial, and you know they did it. I don't know, let's just say they shoplifted. And so they bring the Bible to you, and they're saying, okay, I don't know exactly how it was back then, but they're saying, okay, swear that you're going to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, all that good stuff. And instead of saying, yeah, I swear by God, you say, well, I swear by heaven that I'll tell the truth, because really, you're not going to tell the truth. You're going to try and lie just a little bit so you can get your friend out of trouble. That's what people were doing. They were changing the words of their oath or their vow. They thought it was kind of an escape clause, you might call it. Kind of a get out of jail free card. I can lie and not be breaking God's commands here. I can manipulate the truth. Now, I know some of you guys are thinking, What's that have to do with me? What's that have to do with my life? But there's going to be so many situations for the rest of your life where you're going to be faced with these moments where you're going to think, man, I know I should tell the truth, but if I just twist it a little bit, I can avoid some embarrassment. If I just kind of shape it just the direction I want it to go here, I can get what I want, and I can get out of trouble, or I can get rewarded, or you can get something out of the lie. That's what we always believe. We always believe a lie can help us. It can help further whatever our goals or ambitions are. But Jesus says here, let your yes be yes and let your no be no. Have you ever been in that situation before where you're faced with that moment where somebody asked you something and you knew you should tell the truth, but you just kind of veered to the left or you kind of veered to the right? You're going to be faced with those moments the rest of your life. I'm 31, and there's still moments in my life where I just sit there and I think, I don't want to tell the truth. I'm embarrassed. I did something dumb, or I did something stupid. I made a mistake, and I'm like, I don't want to, people are going to laugh at me. People are going to make fun of me. But if I just tell them, Andrew did it, then I'm going to get out of it, Andrew forgot to fill out that really important waiver form. Now we can't go to Summer Fusion. Yeah, sorry guys, Andrew, we can't go to Summer Fusion. Summer Fusion's canceled. Andrew forgot to fill out a form. I'm just messing with you guys. That didn't really happen. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. There are going to be these moments where you're going to want to pass the blame. You're going to want to shift the truth just a little bit so you're not embarrassed. And you've probably already faced some of those moments, and you've probably already given in to that temptation to tell that little white lie, to use just the right words to shape the truth that you want people to see. I was thinking about this. You're going to get those moments in life where I remember, hanging out with people in high school, and we had, there's this girl that we hung out with in our friend group. And she started dating this guy from our friend group named Aaron. And her mom was really against dating. So what this girl would tell her mom is, hey, I'm going to go hang out with Aaron, my friend Aaron. She would just say, my friend. And Aaron is kind of an ambiguous name, and the mom assumed it was a girl. And so she'd be like, Mom, I'm hanging out with my friend Aaron. I'll see you later. And the mom was like, okay, have fun with her. She didn't exactly correct her. She didn't go out of her way. She said, well, that's my mom's fault for assuming, so just go along with it. And so she shifted the truth to fit what she wanted. Some of you guys, you're facing those moments right now, and you're doing that, and you're coming up with excuses, and you're coming up with good reasons why it's okay. And Jesus wants you to know right now, let your yes be yes and let your no be no. Live a life of truth. Too many times we'd rather lie than face up. Jesus, he wants you to come out of the darkness. That's really what lies build. They build a life of darkness. The more you lie, it builds up these walls. And before you know it, you can't keep track of who you've told which lie to. And they always start out so small. He's calling us to be the same person in public that we are behind closed doors. So if you're embarrassed about who you are behind closed doors, he's calling you out of that darkness into the light today. He wants you to be a person of integrity. So from now on, if you come to church on Wednesday and you put on this great face and you're living this awesome life, you're telling people, and you're living the way Jesus called you to live, that's great on Wednesday. But if you're going home Wednesday night and you're living a completely different life, he's calling you right now to step out of the lies, to step out of the darkness, and start being the same person you are on Wednesday around everyone, to start being that person at home when no one's looking. Start living that life that you're telling people you're living. Step out of the darkness. Here's what I want to end with before we go to small groups. Think about what that most recent lie was that you've told in your life. White lie, it could be something little, it could be something big. Think about some of the trouble that lie caused you. And maybe it hasn't caught up to you yet. But think about some of the trouble it can cause if it does catch up to you. Think about the life Jesus is calling you to live. Live a life that you don't have to lie about. Live a life worthy of the calling he's called you to. Let's pray. God, thank you for your word. Thank you for the truth that it speaks into our lives. And God, I just pray for all of us in here that you help us to live a life worthy of the calling that you've given us. That you help us to live out truth. And God, please, just tonight, help us to have great discussion in our small groups about what it means to live a life of truth. And God, help us to grow closer to you through this time. In your name we pray. Amen.